Reclaiming your power, the art of rising through resilience. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and wondered, how did I lose myself? I know I have. That moment when you barely recognize the person staring back at you, not because your appearance has changed, but because somewhere along the way, your light dimmed, your voice quieted, your dreams deferred. 3 weeks ago, I had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Johanna Tolentino, a force of nature whose journey embodies what it truly means to reclaim your power after life has knocked you down. Johanna isn't just creating ripples of change, she's generating tidal waves of transformation in her community. She's built sanctuaries where vulnerability isn't just accepted, but celebrated as the birthplace of strength, where women who've been told to shrink themselves learn to expand instead, where stories of devastation become blueprints for rebuilding. What struck me most about our conversation wasn't just what she said, but how the energy in the room shifted when she spoke about rising from the ashes of an abusive relationship. There was this moment when her voice softened but somehow grew stronger at the same time. A paradox that perfectly captures the essence of true resilience. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of something more powerful alongside it. We live in a world that loves to tell us who we should be, how we should look, what success means. Especially for Black women, these messages come at us like bullets, fast, relentless, and designed to penetrate our armor. The strong Black woman trope sounds like a compliment until you realize it's actually a prison sentence, a lifetime of carrying everyone else's burdens while silencing your own pain. But what happens when we stop dodging and start building something new instead? What happens when we look at those bullets of expectation and say, not today? That's the question at the heart of Johanna's philosophy. It's not about merely surviving trauma, it's about using it as fertile ground to plant something beautiful, something unexpected, something entirely yours. Let me be clear. This isn't some toxic positivity nonsense about everything happens for a reason. Some things happen for absolutely no good reason at all. The abuse you endured, the relationship that drained your spirit, the times you were overlooked despite being the most qualified person in the room. None of that happened because you needed a lesson. But what you choose to build from those ashes, that's entirely yours to decide. Consider Issa Rae. Before she became the creative powerhouse behind Insecure, she was just a woman with a camera and a story that mainstream Hollywood deemed not marketable enough. Her appearance didn't fit their narrow standards. Her voice was too authentic, her stories too real. So, what did she do? She created The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, a web series that spoke directly to experiences mainstream media ignored. She wrote, produced, and starred in her own narrative when no one would give her the platform. That web series went viral, not because it had $1 million budget or celebrity endorsements, but because it resonated with people who had been waiting to see themselves reflected honestly on screen. People who knew what it felt like to be the only one in the room. People who understood the exhaustion of code switching and the liberation of finally being yourself. Today, Issa Rae has multiple Emmy nominations, Time 100 recognition, and has created opportunities for countless other diverse creatives. But more importantly, she redefined what leading ladies look like on television while building supportive communities around authenticity. This is what Johanna emphasized in our interview. The power of taking your story back, of saying, if you won't make space for me, I'll create my own space. And then holding the door open for others to join you. But let's be honest, that's easier said than done when you're exhausted, when you're a single parent, when you healing from trauma that still wakes you up at night with your heart racing and your sheets soaked in sweat, which brings me to Taraji P. Henson's journey. Before Empire, before Hidden Figures, Taraji was a single mother in Washington, D.C., working multiple jobs while pursuing her acting dreams. She left an unhealthy relationship and faced the dual challenges of industry typecasting and financial instability while raising her son alone. What's remarkable about Taraji isn't just her professional success, it's how openly she discusses the mental health struggles that accompanied her journey. She credits therapy with helping her process trauma from personal relationships, and she didn't stop there. She founded the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation to advocate for mental health in communities of color. During my conversation with Johanna, she emphasized this exact point: healing isn't just personal, it's communal. When we share our stories, when we normalize therapy and emotional wellness, we create permission for others to seek help too. We dismantle the shame that keeps so many of us suffering in silence. This is especially crucial for Black women who have historically been expected to be strong for everyone else while silently carrying their own burdens. As Johanna put it, the strongest thing you can do is admit when you need support. Now, I want to talk about something that came up repeatedly in our interview: the relationship between creativity and healing. Michaela Cole's groundbreaking series, I May Destroy You, offers a powerful example. After experiencing sexual assault, Cole channeled her trauma recovery into creating, writing, and starring in a show that explored consent, trauma, and healing with unflinching honesty. What makes her work so revolutionary isn't just its content, it's that she insisted on complete creative control and ownership. She famously turned down Netflix's $1 million offer when they wouldn't grant her any percentage of the copyright. That's not just confidence, that's a woman who knows her worth and refuses to compromise it. A woman who understands that owning your story is non negotiable. This is what reclaiming your power looks like in action. It's not just telling your story, it's owning it, controlling it, and ensuring that your voice remains undiluted. During our interview, Johanna spoke passionately about how returning to creative expression, whether through art, writing, or other forms, can be a pathway back to yourself after trauma. Sometimes she said, the parts of yourself you abandon for survival are exactly what you need for healing. But there's another dimension to this conversation that we need to address: the body, our physical selves. Society has very specific ideas about what bodies, especially Black women's bodies, should look like. Too often we internalize these messages until we're at war with our own flesh, until we're apologizing for taking up space, until we're spending more time trying to shrink ourselves than expanding into our full potential. Johanna spoke eloquently about the journey toward radical self acceptance, embracing your curves, your skin, your hair, everything that makes you uniquely you. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about reclaiming ownership of your physical self of after experiences that may have disconnected you from your body. It's about saying, this body is mine, not yours to critique, not yours to control, mine. When we celebrate our authentic selves, our bodies our journeys, and all that makes us unique. We don't just heal ourselves, we create ripples that help others heal too. We become living permission slips for others to embrace their fullness. I want to pause here and acknowledge something important. This work is hard, really hard. There will be days when embracing your authentic self feels impossible, days when the trauma feels too fresh, days when you just want to put the cape back on and hide behind the strong Black woman persona because it's familiar, even if it's suffocating. That's okay. Healing isn't linear. Some days you'll take 3 steps forward, other days 2 steps back. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's showing up for yourself with the same compassion you so readily offer others. As Johanna reminded me during our conversation, the journey back to yourself is a winding road, not a straight line. So, what does all this mean for you? What practical steps can you take to begin or continue your own journey of reclamation? First, consider therapy. I know there's still stigma around mental health in many communities, but working with a professional, especially one who understands your cultural context, can be transformative. You wouldn't try to set your own broken bone. Why try to heal emotional wounds without expert guidance? Second, reconnect with dormant passions. What did you love before survival mode kicked in? What creative outlets brought you joy? What dreams did you set aside? These aren't frivolous questions, they're pathways back to your authentic self. Third, build community. Healing happens faster when we're not doing it alone. Find spaces, whether online or in person, where you can be vulnerable, where your story will be held with care, where you don't have to be strong all the time. Fourth, practice boundaries. As Johanna emphasized, learning to say no without guilt is revolutionary, especially for those who've been socialized to prioritize everyone else's needs above their own. Finally, celebrate small victories. Recognize the toxic pattern and chose differently. That's worth celebrating. Spoke your truth when you would normally stay silent. Celebrate that too. Took a nap when you needed it instead of pushing through. Absolutely worth celebrating. This journey of reclaiming your power isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you've always been beneath the layers of expectation, trauma, and survival. I want to leave you with this challenge. Tomorrow morning, look in that mirror again. But this time, don't just see what's there, see what's possible. See the woman who's weathered storms and is still standing. See the creator of your own narrative. See someone worthy of love, rest, and boundless joy, not because of what you've accomplished, but simply because you exist. Then ask yourself, what would I do today if I truly believed in my own power? And whatever answer comes, however small or grand, take one step toward it. Because the world doesn't just need your survival, it needs your full, authentic, unapologetic brilliance. It needs your voice, your vision, your unique way of being. It needs the magic that only happens when you stop dimming your light and instead let it blaze. The journey back to yourself starts now, not tomorrow, not when you've healed completely, not when you've achieved some arbitrary milestone. Now, in all your beautiful, imperfect glory. The power to reclaim your story was always yours. It's time to use it.